Good morning, good morning. All right, Book of Jasher. We're in chapter 63. We had learned a lot more about different tribal fights, all in the African and Mediterranean and Middle East area, and how the children of Esau, basically the ramifications of them being jerks, not letting them bury Jacob where he had bought the land for an inheritance with everything that he had, and Esau and his children trying to say, no, we didn't do that, and then them being captured, and etc., and coming out, and Zepho basically rising to power from working for the king of Africa to working for a different tribe that they always raided, and then turning on the king of Africa. Now, king of Africa being vexed by Zepho. So let's go from here. And in the 93rd year died Levi, the son of Jacob, in Egypt. And Levi was 137 years old when he died. And they put him into a coffin and was given into the hands of his children. And it came to pass, after the death of Levi, when all of Egypt saw that the sons of Jacob and the brethren of Joseph were dead, all the Egyptians began to afflict the children of Jacob, and to embitter their lives from that day unto the day of their going forth from Egypt. And they took from their hands all the vineyards and fields which Joseph had given unto them, and all the elegant houses in which the people of Israel lived, and all the fat of Egypt. The Egyptians took all from the sons of Jacob in those days, and all the hand of Egypt became more grievous in those days against the children of Israel, and the Egyptians injured the Israelites until the children of Israel were wearied of their lives on the account of the Egyptians. Wow. Okay. There's a bunch of places that this reminds me of. Even nowadays. And Thomas Sowell's, if you read Thomas Sowell, Conquests and Culture, he points this out. If you have a minority who is in a semi-ruling or ruling authority, just through skills, trades, etc., remember, they're the minority. And so you can blame all your problems on them because, well, they're not as big as you, so you can then oppress them and take from them all the stuff that they've earned or done. So even if they helped you in the past, even if they've been favored in the past, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. See, politically, well, it's always their fault. They're the ones causing the problems. They're in charge of this or that or this or that. And they're making the lives worse for everybody. So surely they should be ousted. And it's not just, like, obviously it's here, it's the Israelites. And after the Israelites get broken up into the tribes, and so you're left with just the Jews, suddenly becomes the Jewish people. So we see a lot of anti-Semitism throughout all sorts of countries, because they, as a culture, they basically said, hey, get an education, build businesses, learn to run things. Well, that meant they were part of a merchant class or part of a higher class than the regular basic person, because that was something that they always insisted on having as a culture in their framework. But it's not only just Jewish people that it's about. In Conquest and Culture, when he actually starts talking about this, he also talks about how there are tribes in Africa, in certain nations, that the main body of people lived in the southern region of this country, and it's naturally grows food, very prosperous, etc. And the people who lived to the north were the mountainous desert areas. They were a smaller tribe. And so when English colonization came by, that they were along the lines of, okay, well, this is here now, whether we like it or not. And so the northern tribe type people decided, let's figure out how this works, become a part of this new system. So they were always kind of like the second in command. They were the ones, etc. And when England was just saying, it's not worth it to do this colonization stuff, let's leave, that guess who had the administrative jobs? The people who adapted. Oh, but wait a minute, they were the minority. And what did later political leaders who went to Western wonderful academia? Oh, yes, they get to cry oppressed. Because even though both the current type of administration was not being oppressive in that particular country, and neither were those tribesmen from the north, well, any problems and dissatisfactions for the majority of the people, well, you could blame on the minority, and you could cry oppression. And then while you're crying oppression, you can then kick and beat and steal and grab and take from and maul and destroy and murder. But you're the oppressed one. Just remember, the big population is the oppressed one who gets to kick and maim and murder to take away from others. So here it is in Egypt. The majority is the Egyptians. It doesn't matter that Joseph and the Israelites saved them from famine, that they were second in command, and that they had run things very well. No. They're Hebrews. Ha! You must be oppressed, I'm sure. So let's just take from them. Because it's okay, right? Anyway. I'm very frustrated when I see that. After reading what happened in Missouri to the Latter-day Saints, it's just horrific. And then continued and continued and continued. And to this day, people don't like the Latter-day Saints. They're the best people ever. They're so nice. They're so great. I hate their guts. They did a poll on that. We're the least liked religion out there, but yet we actually love all other religions so much more. It's ridiculous. But that's the way it should be, I suppose. We'll just keep on loving people and keep doing what we do, because it's the only way to do things right. So whether they hate us or not, well, they'll have to clean their own heart and mind and hands, and that way we can love one another. All right. So, it came to pass in those days that the 102nd year of Israel going down into Egypt, the Pharaoh the king of Egypt died, and Melol his son reigned in his stead. And all the mighty men of Egypt and all that generation which knew Joseph and the brethren died in those days. And another generation rose up in their stead, which had not known the sons of Jacob, and all the good which they had done to them, and all their might in Egypt. Therefore all Egypt began from that day forth to embitter the lives of the sons of Jacob, and to afflict them with all the manner of hard labor, because they had not known their ancestors who had delivered them in the days of famine. And this was also from the Lord for the children of Israel, to benefit them in the latter days, in order that the children of Israel might know the Lord their God. So we can see from this narration then that they're looking back at the past and saying, well, we know what happens, so this is why. And this is why I'm sitting here thinking, okay, it's probably written sometime in Kings, is my estimation. Also, this is interesting because you'd think with the fame and the power and everything they had, that would be lasting in Egypt. But it's not. This is why I like the Genesis account of things instead of these Super Saiyan brothers causing ruckuses. Because when it comes to Genesis and them coming down into Egypt, even Joseph, who was second in command, it's shown that Egyptians think eating with a Hebrew is an atrocity, so it's atrocious. Oh, we wouldn't want to do that. And so if they keep that in the whole culture, it just makes sense. That it's like, okay, yeah, all those, yeah, they did these great things once, they were really powerful, but come on, guys, really? Do we have to let them be there? It just lends itself to being like, dude, if that's how you even treat your second in command when he saves you from a famine for 7 years, what do you think is going to happen when they're all dead? So Melel was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 94 years, and all Egypt called his name Pharaoh after the name of his father, as it was their custom to do to every king who reigned over them in Egypt. At that time, all the troops of Angeas, king of Africa, went forth to spread along the land of Chittim, as usual, for plunder. And Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, and the son of Esau, heard their report, and he went forth to meet them with his army, and he fought with them there in the road. And Zepho smote the troops of the king of Africa with the edge of the sword, and left none remaining of them, and not even one returned to his master in Africa. And Angeas heard of this with Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, had done to all his troops, that he had destroyed them. And Angeas assembled all his troops and all the men of the land of Africa, a people numerous like the sand of the seashore. And Angeas sent to Lucas, his brother, saying, Come to me with all thy men, and help me smite Zepho, and all the children of Chittim, who had destroyed my men. And Lucas came with his whole army, a very great force, to assist Angeas, his brother, to fight with Zepho, and the children of Chittim. And Zepho and the children of Chittim heard this thing, and they were greatly afraid, and a great terror fell upon their hearts. And Zepho also sent a letter to the land of Edom to Hadad, the son of Bedad, king of Edom, and to all the children of Esau, saying, I have heard that Angeas, king of Africa, has come to us with his brother to battle against us, and we are greatly afraid of him, for his army is very great, particularly as he comes against us with his brother, and all his army likewise. Now therefore, come you also up with me, and help me, and we will fight together against Angeas and his brother Lucas, and you will save us out of their hands. But if not, know ye that we shall all die. And all the children of Esau sent a letter unto the children of Chittim, and Zepho their king, saying, We cannot fight against Angeas and his people, for a covenant of peace has been between us these many years, from the day of Bela the first king, and from the days of Joseph the son of Jacob, king of Egypt, with whom we fought on the other side of Jordan, when he buried his father. And when Zepho heard the words of his brethren, the children of Esau, he refrained from them, and Zepho was greatly afraid of Angeas. And Angeas and Lucas, his brother, arrayed all their forces, about 800,000 men, against the children of Chittim. So Zepho was captured during that fight with Joseph. But they're like, hey, we still have that alliance, so no, we're not going to break it. So the children of Esau did not go and help Zepho again. So now they're about to be toast. We'll see. And the children of Chittim said unto Zepho, Pray for us to the God of thy ancestors. Peradventure he may deliver us from the hand of Angeas and his army. For we have heard that he is a great God, and that he delivers all who trust in him. And Zepho heard their words, and Zepho sought the Lord. And he said, O Lord God of Abraham and Isaac, my ancestors, this day I know that thou art a true God, and all the gods of the nations are vain and useless. Remember now this day unto me thy covenant with Abraham our father, which our ancestors related unto us, and do graciously with me this day for the sake of Abraham and Isaac our fathers, and save me and the children of Chittim from the hand of the king of Africa, who comes against us for battle. And the Lord hearkened unto the voice of Zepho, and he had regard for him on account of Abraham and Isaac. And the Lord delivered Zepho and the children of Chittim from the hand of Angeas and his people. And Zepho fought Angeas, king of Africa, and all his people on that day. And the Lord gave all the people of Angeas into the hands of the children of Chittim. And the battle was severe upon Angeas. And Zepho smote all the men of Angeas and Lucas his brother with the edge of the sword. And there fell from them unto the evening of that day about 400,000 men. And when Angeas saw that all his men perished, he sent a letter to the inhabitants of Africa to come to him, to assist him in the battle. And he wrote the letter, saying, All who are found in Africa, let them come unto me from 10 years old and upward. Let them all come unto me, and behold, if he come not, he shall die. And all that he has, with his whole household, the king will take. And all the rest of the inhabitants of Africa were terrified at the words of Angeas. And there went out of the city about 300,000 men and boys, from 10 years upward, and they came to Angeas. And at the end of 10 days, Angeas renewed the battle against Zepho and the children of Chittim. And the battle was very great and strong between them. And from the army of Angeas and Lucas, Zepho sent many of the wounded unto his land, about 200,000 men. And Sosiftar, the captain of the host of Angeas, fell in that battle. And when Sosiftar had fallen, the African troops turned their backs to flee, and they fled, and Angeas and Lucas's brother were with them. And Zepho and the children of Chittim pursued them, and they smote them still heavily on the road, about 200 men. And they pursued Asdrubal, the son of Angeas, who had fled with his father, and they smote 20 of his men in the road. And Asdrubal escaped from the children of Chittim, and they did not slay him. And Angeas and Lucas, his brother, fled with the rest of their men, and they escaped, and came into Africa with terror and consternation. And Angeas feared all the days, lest Zepho and the son of Eliphaz should go to war with him. So he turned it around by actually praying to God, and there's a little bit of favor in there. Chapter 64. And Balaam the son of Beor was at that time with Angeas in battle, and when he saw Zepho prevailed over Angeas, he fled from there, and came to Chittim. And Zepho and the children of Chittim received him with great honor, and Zepho knew Balaam's wisdom. And Zepho gave unto Balaam many gifts, and he remained with him. And when Zepho had returned from the war, he commanded all the children of Chittim to be numbered, who had gone into battle with him, and behold, not one was missed. And Zepho rejoiced at this thing, and he renewed his kingdom. Footnote from the author, after the fatigues of war, to attend again to domestic government, is what that means, to renew your kingdom. And he made a feast to all his subjects. But Zepho remembered not the Lord. Cough, cough. It's not a good thing. And considered not the Lord had helped him in battle, and that he had delivered him and his people from the hand of the king of Africa, but still walked in the ways of the children of Chittim, and the wicked children of Esau, to serve other gods, which his brethren, the children of Esau, had taught him. It is, therefore, said, from the wicked goes forth wickedness. Here we see that again. That's been mentioned like 5 times, that saying. And Zepho reigned over all the children of Chittim securely, but knew not the Lord who had delivered him and all the people from the hand of the king of Africa. And the troops of Africa came no more to Chittim to plunder as usual, for they knew the power of Zepho, who had smitten them all at the edge of the sword. So Angeas was afraid of Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, and the children of Chittim all the days. At that time, when Zepho had returned from the war, and when Zepho had seen how he prevailed over all the people of Africa and had smitten them in battle at the edge of the sword, then Zepho advised with the children of Chittim to go to Egypt to fight with the sons of Jacob, and with Pharaoh king of Egypt. For Zepho heard that the mighty men of Egypt were dead, and that Joseph and his brethren and the sons of Jacob were dead, and that all their children and the children of Israel remained in Egypt. Oh, all the great and mighty men that are like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generation from the ark, they're all gone. They're all weak like us now. They must be ripe for the picking. And Zepho considered to go to fight against them and all Egypt, to avenge the cause of the brethren of Esau, whom Joseph with his brethren and all Egypt had smitten in the land of Canaan, when they went up to bury Jacob in Hebron. And Zepho sent messengers to Hadad, son of Bedad, king of Edom, and to all his brethren, the children of Esau, saying, Did you not say that you would not fight against the king of Africa, for he is a member of your covenant? Behold, I fought with him, and smote him, and all his people. Now, therefore, I have resolved to fight against Egypt, and the children of Jacob who are there, and I will be revenged of them for what Joseph, his brethren, and ancestors did to us in the land of Canaan, when they went up to bury their father in Hebron. Now, then, so he's still butthurt about losing then. Now, then, if you are willing to come to me, to assist me in fighting against them in Egypt, then shall we avenge the cause of our brethren. And the children of Esau hearkened to the words of Zepho. And the children of Esau gathered themselves together, a great, very great people. And they went to assist Zepho and the children of Chittim in battle. And Zepho sent to all the children of the east and to all the children of Ishmael with words like unto these. And they gathered themselves and came to the assistance of Zepho and the children of Chittim in the war upon Egypt. And all the kings and the kings of Edom and the children of the east and all the children of Israel and Zepho, the king of Chittim, went forth and arrayed all their hosts in Hebron. And that camp was very heavy, extending in length and distance of 3 days' journey, and a people numerous as the sands upon the seashore, which cannot be counted. And all the kings and their hosts went down and came against all Egypt in battle, and encamped together in the valley of Pathros. And all Egypt heard their report, and they also gathered themselves together, all the people of the land of Egypt, and all the cities belonging to Egypt, about 300,000 men. A lot smaller, it sounds like, but still a lot. And the men of Egypt sent also the children of Israel, who were in those days in the land of Goshen, to come with them in order to go and fight with these kings. Well, we're mistreating you now, but hey, you're still part of Egypt, so go fight them. The men of Israel assembled, and were about 150 men, and they went into battle to assist the Egyptians. And the men of Israel and of Egypt went forth, about 300,000 men, and 150 men, and they went towards the kings to battle, and they placed themselves from without the land of Goshen, opposite Pathros. And the Egyptians believed not in Israel to go with them in their camps together for battle, for all the Egyptians said, Perhaps the children of Israel will deliver us into the hands of Esau and Ishmael, for they are their brethren. Okay, so they say, you got to go fight, Israel. Egypt says to Israel, you got to go and fight. And they said, let's not have them fight with us, because they might just deliver us into the Esau, because they're related. And the Egyptians said unto the children of Israel, You remain here together in your stand, and we will go and fight against the children of Esau and Ishmael. And if these kings should prevail over us, then come you all together upon them and assist us. And the children of Israel did so. In a funny way, there's actually some tactical advantage to that. There's a book that's pretty amazing in all sorts of respects and regards. It's you may, if you've listened to me talk about it in other books, you'll understand what I'm referencing here. But on Killing is a book about how you get soldiers to actually perform their duty as soldiers and get them to take out other human beings. Well, the interesting thing is, if that's all you're getting from it, you're doing it wrong. If you understand that it's really about how psychology works when you're under stress, pressure, and trying to do something that people naturally do not want to do, then you understand humans and psychology much more. One thing that's fascinating from a tactics point of view is that if you have a big giant battle, it's usually the person who has reinforcements at the end that will win. The reason why is, just imagine, you exert all this effort to fight. And it doesn't matter if you fight and win over the first group. You're fighting and expending a lot of energy, time, resources, food, etc. Reinforces from the other side comes in, and it's just extremely demoralizing. It's like, I thought we were done. I thought we had this beat. I thought we were done with this. And then they come in and they can smash you because it's just so demoralizing. It's pretty cool. I can't remember if it's specifically in that book, but I know it's one of those things. It's just, ugh. So, tactically, it's not a terrible thing. And Zepho, the son of Eliphaz, the son of Esau, king of Chittim, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, king of Edom, and all their camps, and all the children of the east, and children of Ishmael, a people numerous as sand, encamped together in the valley of Pathros opposite Tachpanches. So, no, I said that wrong. Tachpanches. And Balaam, the son of Beor, the Syrian, was there in the camp of Zepho, for he came with the children of Chittim to battle, and Balaam was a man highly honored in the eyes of Zepho and his men. And Zepho said unto Balaam, Try by divination for us, that we may know who will prevail in the battle, we or the Egyptians. And Balaam rose up and tried the art of divination, and he was skillful in the knowledge of it. But he was confused, and the work was destroyed in his hand. And he tried it again, but it did not succeed. And Balaam despaired of it, and left it, and did not complete it. For this was from the Lord, in order to cause Zephonah's people to fall into the hands of the children of Israel, who had trusted in the Lord, and the God of their ancestors, in their war. And Zepho and Hadad put their forces in battle array, and all the Egyptians went alone against them, about 300,000 men, and not one man of Israel was with them. And all the Egyptians fought, and these kings opposite Pathros and Tachpanches, and the battle was severe against the Egyptians. And the kings were stronger than the Egyptians in that battle, and about 180 men of Egypt fell on that day. And about 30 men of the forces of the kings, and all the men of Egypt fled from before the king. So the children of Esau and Ishmael pursued the Egyptians, continuing to smite them unto the place where was the camp of the children of Israel. Whenever you're retreating, that's the most deadly part of the battle, because you're no longer facing them. Not only can you not face them to defend yourself, but you don't literally have a face towards them. And so it becomes much easier to do slaying, because you're not looking into the face of somebody that you're about to take out. So if you ever are on the retreat, it's bad. It's rough. So they had to run. And all the Egyptians cried unto the children of Israel, saying, Hasten to us, and assist us, and save us from the hand of Esau, Ishmael, and the children of Chittim. And the 150 men of the children of Israel ran from their station to the camps of these kings, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord their God to deliver them. And the Lord hearkened to Israel, and the Lord gave all the men of the kings into their hand. And the children of Israel fought against these kings, and the children of Israel smote about 4,000 of the king's men. And the Lord threw a great consternation in the camp of the kings, so that fear of the children of Israel fell upon them. And all the hosts of the kings fled from before the children of Israel. And the children of Israel pursued them, continuing to smite them unto the borders of the land of Cush. And the children of Israel slew of them in the road yet 2,000 men, and of the children of Israel not one fell. And when the Egyptians saw that the children of Israel had fought with such few men with the kings, and that the battle was so very severe against them, and all the Egyptians were greatly afraid of their lives on account of the strong battle, and all Egypt fled, every man hiding himself from the arrayed forces, and they hid themselves in the road, and they left the Israelites to fight. So the Egyptians just were not useful. So Israel comes in, saves the day, starts destroying this arrayed force, and the Egyptians are like, yeah, we'll just let you do all the work now. And the children of Israel inflicted a terrible blow upon the king's men, and they returned from them after they had driven them to the borders of the land of Cush. And all Israel knew that the thing which the men of Egypt had done to them, that they had fled from them in battle, and had left them to fight alone. So the children of Israel, Israel, apparently in the 1800s they left off an F. So the children, Israel, also acted with cunning, And as the children of Israel returned from battle, they found some of the Egyptians in the road, and smote them there. And whilst they slew them, they said unto them these words, Wherefore did you go from us, and leave us, being a few people, to fight against these kings, who had a great people, to smite us, that you might thereby deliver your own souls? And some which the Israelites met on the road, the children of Israel spoke to each other, saying, Smite, smite, for he is an Ishmaelite, or an Edomite, or from the children of Chittim. And they stood over him, and slew him, and they knew that he was an Egyptian. And the children of Israel did these things cunningly against the Egyptians, because they had deserted them in battle, and had fled from them. And the children of Israel slew the men of Egypt in the road in this manner, about 200 men. And all the men of Egypt saw the evil which the children of Israel had done to them. So all Egypt feared greatly the children of Israel, for they had seen their great power, and that not one man of them had fallen. So all the children of Israel returned with joy on their road to Goshen, and the rest of Egypt returned each man to his place. Next is chapter 65. Let's see how long it is. It's not long. This would be very interesting, because you have extremely strained your bond with Egypt, with the Israelites, because of this. That's all there is to it. You literally ditched them in the fight. You asked them not to fight. And then when they did fight, you then ditched them. It's really not a great look for the Egyptians, but it is also not a very good look to sit there and, you're really angry at how cowardly the Egyptians are and how they left you to die. But on your way back, you're killing these cowards who basically wanted you to die and fight for them. I get it, but it's not a good look to the Egyptians, because they're like, holy crap, we fought against these kings, we are getting our butts kicked, and these guys come in, we do nothing, and they just trash them, and now they're killing us on their way back, because we kind of betrayed them, but we're in trouble. You see how that strains that relationship? There's no trust between the two now. They're just kind of like roommates that are eyeballing each other about, when are you going to backstab me next? And it came to pass, after these things, that all the counselors of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and all the elders of Egypt assembled and came before the king, and bowed down to the ground, and they sat before him. And the counselors and the elders of Egypt spoke unto the king, saying, Behold, the people of the children of Israel is greater and mightier than we are, and thou knowest all the evil which they did unto us, did to us in the road when we returned from battle. And thou hast also seen their strong power, for this power is unto them from their fathers. But for a few men stood up against a people numerous as the sand, and smote them at the edge of the sword, and they themselves not one is fallen, so that if they had been numerous, they would have had utterly destroyed them. Now therefore give us counsel what to do with them, until we gradually destroy them from amongst us, lest they become too numerous for us in the land. For if the children of Israel should increase in the land, they will become an obstacle to us. And if war should happen to take place, they with their great strength will join our enemy against us, and fight against us, and destroy us from the land, and go away from it. Interesting. So the king answered the elders of Egypt, and said unto them, This is the plan advised against Israel, from which we will not depart. Remember, the Israelites are a minority in the land of Egypt, but we can see that they're so strong. I also don't think it's a good idea, but let's see what their plan is. Behold, in the land are Pithom and Ramesses, cities unfortified against battle. It behooves you and us to build them and fortify them. Now, therefore, go you also, and act cunningly toward them, and proclaim a voice in Egypt and in Goshen, at the command of the king, saying, All ye men of Egypt, Goshen, Pathros, and all the inhabitants, the king has commanded us to build Pithom and Ramses, and to fortify them for battle. Who amongst you of all Egypt, of the children of Israel, and all the inhabitants of the cities are willing to build with us? Shall each have his wages given to him daily, at the king's order. So go you first, and do cunningly, and gather yourselves, and come to Pithom and Ramses to build. And whilst you are building, use a proclamation of this kind to be made throughout Egypt every day, at the command of the king. And when some of the children of Israel shall come to build with you, you shall give them their daily wages for a few days. And after they shall have built with you for their daily hire, draw yourselves away from them daily, one by one, in secret. And then you shall raise up and become their taskmasters and officers, and you shall leave them afterward to build without wages. And should they refuse, then force them with all your might to build. And if you do this, it will be well with us to strengthen our land against the children of Israel. For on account of the fatigue of the building and the work, the children of Israel will decrease, because you will deprive them from their wives day by day. Whoa, do you see what's going on? Let me reread that, especially that last verse. If you do this, it'll be well with us for the strength of our land against the children of Israel. For on account of the fatigue of the building and the work, the children of Israel will decrease, because you will deprive them of their wives day by day. So it's a twofold plan. Weary them out by working, basically turn them into slaves, because instead of everyone working for hire, you then become taskmasters, and then you then don't pay them. And so you're forcing them to work. Oh, and they're away from their wives, so they're not going to have more children. So it is population control, taking advantage of them, and putting slaves over them, right? It's literally, let's take advantage of the people that helped us. Doesn't matter that they helped make the land great, preserved us through the famine, saw us through wars. Nah, they're too strong, too mighty, too ingenuitive, so let's get them working. Let's get them working on stuff, and then let's deprive them of the children. People really don't understand. Oh well. What comes shall come. And also on top of that, I think that we're just too... There's a lot of things that feel like it needs to change, but the question is how. If things need to change, how can you do that upon principle? And what happens when principles go out the window and people start fighting? And you're someone who wants to stay with principles. Do you abandon principles to save them? I don't know. I don't think that works. Or do you use your principles to save them, even though it means you get taken advantage of? Well, let's see what happens. It's pretty dang insidious. All the elders of Egypt heard the counsel of the king, and the counsel seemed good in their eyes, and in the eyes of the servants of Pharaoh, and all the eyes of all Egypt. And they did according to the words of the king, and all the servants went away from the king, and they caused the proclamation to be made in all Egypt, in the Tachpanches and in Goshen, and in all the cities which surrounded Egypt, saying, You have seen what the children of Esau and Ishmael did to us, who came to war against us, and wished to destroy us. Now therefore the king commanded us to fortify the land, and to build the cities of Pithom and Ramses, and to fortify them for battle, if they should again come against us. Whosoever of you from all Egypt and from the children of Israel will come and build with us, he shall have his daily wages, and given by the king, and his command is unto us. And when Egypt and all the children of Israel heard all that the servants of Pharaoh had spoken, there came from Egyptians and the children of Israel to build with the servants of Pharaoh, Pithom and Ramses. But none of the children of Levi came with their brethren to build. And all the servants of Pharaoh and his princes came at first with deceit to build with all Israel, as daily hired laborers. And they gave to Israel their daily hire at the beginning. And all the servants of Pharaoh built with all Israel, and they were employed in that work with Israel for a month. And at the end of the month, all the servants of Pharaoh began to withdraw secretly from the people of Israel daily. And Israel went on with the work at this time. But they then received their daily hire, because some of the men of Egypt were yet carrying on the work with Israel at that time. Therefore the Egyptians gave Israel their hire in those days, in order that they, the Egyptians, their fellow workmen, might also take the pay for their labor. And at the end of a year and 4 months, all the Egyptians had withdrawn from the children of Israel, so that the children of Israel were left alone to engage in the work. And after all the Egyptians had withdrawn from the children of Israel, they returned and became oppressors and officers over them. And some of them stood over the children of Israel as taskmasters, to receive from them all that they gave them for the pay of their labor. And the Egyptians did this in a manner to the children of Israel day by day, in order to afflict the Israelites in their work. And all the children of Israel were alone engaged in the labor, and the Egyptians refrained from giving any pay to the children of Israel from that time forward. When some of the men of Israel refused to work on account of wages not being given to them, what, you mean they're not going to work without pay? Oh, you silly Israelite. The servants of Pharaoh pressed them and smote them with heavy blows, and made them return by force to labor with their brethren. Thus did all the Egyptians unto the children of Israel all the days. And the children of Israel were greatly afraid of the Egyptians in this matter, and all the children of Israel returned and worked alone without pay. And the children of Israel built Pithom and Ramses, and all the children of Israel did work, some making bricks, some building. And the children of Israel built and fortified all the land of Egypt and its walls, and the children of Israel were engaged in the work for many years, until the time came when the Lord remembered them and brought them out of Egypt. But the children of Levi were not employed in the work with their brethren of Israel from the beginning unto this day, their going forth from Egypt. For all the children of Levi knew that the Egyptians had spoken all these words with deceit to the Israelites. Therefore the children of Levi refrained from approaching to work with their brethren. And the Egyptians did not direct their attention to make the children of Levi work afterward, since they had not been with their brethren at the beginning. Therefore the Egyptians left them alone. And the hands of the men of Egypt were directed with continued severity against the children of Israel in that work. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel work with rigor. And the Egyptians embittered the lives of the children of Israel with hard work, in mortar and bricks, and also in all manner of work in the field. And the children of Israel called Melol, the king of Egypt, Merer, king of Egypt, because in his days the Egyptians had embittered their lives with all manner of work. Okay, I'm assuming there's wordplay in the name. That Melol, don't know what that means, is switched to Merer, as in some sort of terror. That's an English version of it, but some sort of meaning behind it. Talking about him being an oppressor, a tyrant, a terror, an oppressor, embittering. There's all sorts of things it could mean. I'm just not understanding the pun, so I just have to assume by context that's what it means. And all the work wherein the Egyptians made the children of Israel labor, they exacted with rigor in order to afflict the children of Israel. But the more they afflicted them, the more they increased and grew, and the Egyptians were grieved because of the children of Israel. So it didn't work. Even though they worked them with rigor and kept them away from their wives, it didn't matter. They probably went back to their wives and had plenty of children and became stronger because of all the hard labor that they were doing. And this caused a huge concern because, again, you oppressed the Israelites after they saved you. You took away the best stuff that they had, even though they helped you grow. Okay. Then you ditch them in battle after they save your arses. And so, as they're angry coming back, they do something stupid and kill Egyptians on the way back. So there's no love lost between them anymore. And now they try this scheme to make them slaves, and it works. The Israelites get taken advantage of again, and they become slaves. And so here is something to consider. I'm going to call it here. I'm just sitting here thinking about our situations nowadays. How we are in a very weird situation in America. That we've got a government that continues to have really bad calls on a lot of things, that specifically allows for corruption and fraud, and they specifically literally write laws in certain states to go after the people who are out there finding fraud. It's like, no, we can't. We got to stop the people who are actually exposing this fraud. We can't have them get in our grift. How else are we going to stay in power? No, we can't stop something that is rife with fraud when it comes to how we get our leaders in office. Because, well, we want to make sure that we can, instead of vote just one day, we should vote for 5 days, and from places that we don't know where it comes from. Or other things like, people who have literally no allegiance to the country that they just happen to be in when they pop out a baby, well, they get to be full citizens, even though their parents were never citizens themselves. They were not subject to us. And everywhere else in the world, they understand, well, if you go to their country and have a child there just by happenstance, they are not a part of that country. They never were. They're not going to be staying there. They're not part of it. But no. And then anyone who is in power, that's on both sides. They just tend to do things that's good for themselves instead of people. There's all sorts of economic policies that are just becoming ripe with corruption and smells of a very broken system. But yet, despite all this, despite all of that, we live with such freedom and blessings and prosperity. We do. It's not fun. It's very easy to complain. We are very blessed and prosperous. Yet at the same time, we keep marching down these roads of, let's take from those who produce the best and most. See New York, see California. Because they deserve it for some reason. There's so many announcements of companies building huge, giant centers far away from those areas. Problem is that you've got to change the culture of the people, but you've also got to have good, decent people as leaders. But the problem is those people who you think are good or decent often are good and decent for your side, but then they get in office and do what's good for them and themselves. It doesn't matter what side. And it's just awful. Yet at the same time, as long as they don't wake a sleeping giant, they keep going, they keep pushing. So, are we cumulatively similar to the children of Israel? For now, I don't think we're quite there yet. You could overestimate it and sit there and say, oh yeah, we're totally being oppressed. Really? There's definitely things that are broken economically, and there's good discussions you could have around that. But it's not slave labor yet. It's not a lot of things yet. And so we continue to fight. We continue to fight culturally online, because that's what we have. And it helps a lot, because we don't have police coming to arrest people for memes yet, like Australia and the UK. and other places. We don't have that. Well, let me rephrase that. What we do have is limited, but more importantly, it's being redressed properly. Because I have heard of a couple of times where people were throwing out memes, but it's not on a massive scale. But we need to always be vigilant against it. So even though it may seem like that, that awareness allows us to fight against it. And we need the good and decent people that are in police forces, leadership, businesses, communities, to sit there and say, no, we're not doing this. No, we're not going to act like petulant children. We are going to actually just roll up our sleeves, get our work done, and treat each other fairly, because that's the way it should be. No, we're not going to ask for reparations or pay me money or I want things free and those guys are rich, so take it from them. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to work. And we should change systems that are not right. That's the harder part, because then you have to get people who will change those. But anyway, overall, we're starting to see how the children of Israel succumbed to the oppression of the leaders of Egypt through cunning. There's a lot of parallels you can grab. You can inflate it or you can deflate it, as you can see by my commentary. There are times where I feel like I should inflate it, and there are other times where I'm like, no, just come on, take perspective here. The world is not terrible by any means. You may sit there and say it's getting worse, but everyone has always felt that way throughout all time. Well, the question is it true? I think the world lives off rage bait, because it gets the clicks, it gets the views. If anything, pause, turn off the world, and go, you know what? It's still a beautiful day. The world keeps turning, we still keep living, and we can still keep loving our neighbor. We can still do as Jesus Christ asks us to do, to love one another, to keep his commandments he gave us. You want to know what his commandments are? Read the Sermon on the Mount. He pronounces all sorts of blessings. He tells us many parables and gives us an idea of how we ought to be perfect. So, let's go and try our best to orient ourselves towards that goal of perfection. God will help us. And most importantly, it helps us grow as people, which is his whole desire, is to help make everyone better. And so, in your dealings with your fellow men, are you dealing with them better? I've got to ponder on the actions of the Israelites coming home and taking out those who betrayed them. How bad was that? And what would have happened if they hadn't done that? So, despite being betrayed and embittered by those around you or the things that happened to you by others, what's the better way? What will get better results? Well, there's a few things to ponder. May the Spirit of God be with you and help you in all your life. We'll see you.